Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Now my name is Pamiti, and I would first, before doing anything, before saying anything, I would like to say Happy Women's Day to all the mommies, to all the women, to all the flowers of this world. I'm hoping that you guys have had an excellent day, or are still having an excellent day rather, and I hope that today is not the only day that you mark as Women's Day in your yearly calendar, but rather on a regular basis you celebrate yourself and you celebrate the woman that you are. You know, women have come a long way to where they are today, and they deserve to celebrate that. All right, moving right along, let us jump into today's topic.
Is born in South Africa.
Hey, she's South African, yo swine! She's South African, yo massa! She's fucking South African. Bye.
Now we all know the story about our beauty queens, Miss South African pageant that has currently been going on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is going to be the finale where we hear exactly who is the queen of them all. But one thing I personally have to say about this particular pageant is that a lot of attention has been given to one particular person.
Hi everyone, my name is Chidima Vanessa Onwe Adechinna, known as Chichi. I'm an official Miss South Africa 2024 finalist. Two interesting facts about myself is that I love dogs, but I'm absolutely afraid of them. And I love singing, but I cannot sing to save my life. So come along on this journey with me.
Now, Chidima has been one of the finalists for the Miss South Africa pageant 2024. One thing we can't take from her, and one thing we can do absolutely nothing about when it concerns Chidima, is her beauty. The girl is, without a doubt, very, very beautiful. So South Africans have been, yet again, been accused of being xenophobic and been accused of being jealous where the issue of Chidima comes into hand. Now, when it comes to jealousy, that's one thing I fully could never understand, because South Africans have never at any point said that Chidima is ugly or made ugly remarks about her looks. I don't think that is the highlight. I don't think that that is where the angle where Chidima is concerned has been going. Now, let's address the xenophobic matter. Why exactly did Chidima withdraw from the Miss South Africa pageant? Now, as far as she says she's withdrawing for the safety of her parents and her own safety as well, due to the cyberbullying that she's been getting online. Because people have been questioning her identity and questioning just how is she South African.
Post-election. My pre-election views does not change because of being a minister. I still believe you have to be documented when you come into South Africa. I still believe that's not Gayton, that's the law. And if you are not documented, you should abahambe, you should leave. You know, people that say to me, you are xenophobic. I said, until they kill your child, and then we can't find the person because the person is undocumented. The issue of the young lady is, for me, I was asked upon landing.
Yes.
What do you think of the lady? I said, listen, number one, I don't have all the facts. That was my first thing I said. I tweeted, I said, I don't have all the facts. But what I do know, and in 2068, I will still hold the view that no Nigerian, no Zimbabwean, no Italian, no American should become Miss South Africa. Miss South Africa. Why then? There's Miss World for those things. There's Miss Universe for those things. But South Africa, Miss South Africa is an ambassador of the country, is a person that will export our culture, is a person that will export our way of life to the world, is a person that will go and make sure people want to visit our country. All I'm saying is that I've seen videos, number one, where she's celebrating, and there's nothing wrong celebrating with a lot of Nigerians. But when your father goes on the radio and he says that he met your mom in 2010, and then She fell pregnant in 2010. That makes you 14 years old.
Origin?
I'm a Nigerian and my wife is a South African.
Oh, all right.
And I've lived in South Africa as well. I spent 10 years in South Africa.
And do you have kids in South Africa?
Yes, I do.
And I suppose they are South African citizens.
Exactly.
All right. And what surname are they using?
My surname.
Your surname.
Because I'm married to their mom, yes.
All right. Okay. And on what visa were you here?
Actually, as I said, I got married. I met my wife in the UK. She's a South African, by the way. So we met in the UK. So in 2010, during World Cup, we decided we're gonna visit. At that time, we don't have children, so we decided we're gonna visit South Africa to watch the World Cup. So that was my first year. That's my first time entering South Africa. So I came with a visitor visa because there's no other visa suitable for watching a World Cup other than visiting visa. So we came there, the World Cup ended, we returned back. I think it was a few weeks. We returned back to the UK. Then I have to return back again in 2013, and then with a visitor's visa, then got married to my wife in South Africa. So I am.
Okay, wait a minute. I like it. With a visitor's visa, you got married to your South African woman.
Yes.
All right.
That's correct.
Okay. So I am going to ask you the same question I asked you, Kamba. In your heart,
Right.
are your kids a South African or Nigerian?
It's called dual citizen. They are both.
Okay, but then when you look at them, do you see them as Nigerian kids or otherwise?
That's what I've just said. They are Nigerian. They are Nigerian kids that have every single right that you have as a South African. They also have. So they are.
The father said, and at the end of the interview, the father was asked, do you see your daughter South African or Nigerian? The father said on the interview, I see her as Nigerian. I listened to it.
Right.
Now, I am not wanting to cast any aspersions, but that gives a bit of vibes. If my father was being asked, what am I? Then I've got no business representing Mr. South Africa, because my father says I'm not South African. But if the lady, people must not mistake if you are born in South Africa that you are South African. A human being born, a cow being born in a horse stable doesn't make you a horse. I would like to see a more amicable atmosphere surrounding this thing. At the moment, all we're asking for is, please give us, please answer our questions. It's not enough when they say one thing and the parents say another thing in the interview. It will be a travesty of justice. There's no South African that can represent America. Why do we allow things? And I'm not even saying she's Nigerian. But if you ask me today, are you South African? I'm going to say yes. Particularly when I'm going to represent South Africa. I need to give. We can't just be told by private people that is getting a lot of mileage out of this thing and South Africa is getting a lot of mileage to say, no, she's South African. The deputy minister came on TV and he explained the situation. So we are now following the correct channels. And if she's South African, I will be the first to apologize and say, if you feel that I've cast any aspersion on you, as the minister, I would like to apologize. But if she's not South African, she cannot represent us.
Whether Chidima Adechinna is South African is a question of law. It's not a question of feelings or emotions or prejudice or xenophobia. It is a question of law. And parties to the Government of National Unity all signed a statement of intent in which we agreed to not only abide by the rule of law, but to promote the rule of law. And so the Patriotic Alliance is bound by the law and not by their feelings or by their suspicions or by their prejudice. If she is South African in terms of the law, then she's entitled to contest the Miss South Africa competition, And we shouldn't be tolerating cyberbullying or xenophobia. Let's move on, find out if she is South African by law, and then get behind her as one of the contestants in the Miss South Africa competition.
Your citizenship is determined by where you were born. So if she was born here, she's South African. It doesn't matter who they are. She's not her parents. She's herself. So why do you want to say she's from Nigeria or she's from Mozambique? She was born here. In America, actually, I don't know how many months. If I'm not wrong, if you are 6 months pregnant or so, they don't allow you to visit. Because they know that once you visit and you stay there and you give birth there, that child is American. Yeah, they know that as long you don't have to be American.
Yeah.
It's born in a hospital there.
Yeah.
Must be certified immediately that this is the child who was born in America. This is an American citizen. So we can't do that. We cannot punish people on the basis of where their parents come from. So I've not followed the debate. I don't know if she's South African or not. But I would guess the Miss South Africa company would have done the necessary due diligence and come to a conclusion that she's a suitable candidate to contest. So those are the things that are actually engineered by those who are spreading hatred amongst African people. Such people should not be supported.
Today, you look at a fellow African, you listen to the pronunciation of a fellow African, you listen to the name and the surname of a fellow African, and by that you isolate them. You look at them and say, these are not South Africans, these are Nigerians, this can be Miss South Africa, this can be that. Marfelyoun can be a player of rugby, South Africa, and get celebrated. No one will dare to question, where does this surname of Felyoun come from? Because we've been made to celebrate that which looks down at us. Anything that looks like you, you hate. Anything that sounds different from you, you hate. You know, comrades, the concept makwere comes from the tribalists who could not hear the other ones. When you speak, the tribalists, they say they don't hear you, but because they can't hear your language. When you speak, they hear. So you can't use that. You can't use that to want to rule out individuals. Comrades, we are hated everywhere else in the world. Everywhere else where black people are found. It doesn't matter their accent. They can speak the best English they want to speak, best accent. As long as the color of their skin looks like mine, they will be isolated. You get isolated to a point where even when you go to China, a young person who has never been exposed to a black person, when they see you, they start trying to clean you. But it looks like you are dirty. Because that's how we're being looked at. So where do we get the privilege with so much hate happening against us? Where do we get the privilege to hate on each other? If the unity of Africa is not important, why are they fighting against it so much? If it was this useless thing that has got no meaning, why is there such a big fight? They know that the only way they could conquer Africa, they had to divide it. They divided Africa. They gave it to all types of countries to manage. Our coming together is a threat to Europe, it's a threat to America. Our coming together, it means one currency backed by our mineral resources. And that currency will be against the dollar. And it will be more powerful than the dollar. Our coming together means one parliament, which means there will never be pockets of dictators who take over governments in Africa through a barrel of a gun. Why? There is one body which makes laws for the whole of African continent. There are no separate laws. There is one president for the whole of Africa. There is one military command in the whole of Africa. When they say they are rebels at the border of Rwanda and DRC, we call on the African command to go and make peace at that part of Africa without asking for the UN to come and help us.